لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا ونور قلوبنا وقرة أعيننا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. نوعنا تعلم وتعليم وتذكر وتذكير والنفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والحث على التمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم، ودعاء إلى الهدى ودلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى، مع لطف وعافية برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك علم لدني ومشرب صافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك علم لدني ومشرب صافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك علم لدني والمشرب صافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المتمون والفهم المكنون من سرك في ونن وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون في كل لحظة أبدا عدد خلقه ورضاه نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله. We're continuing with our class on the Nubda. So inshallah today I will inshallah we will finish the Muqaddimah. So we're still at the beginning, right, of the Nubda. Alhamdulillah, for those of you who are new to these classes, right? So we're still at the beginning, right? And entering into the first chapter, inshallah. And inshallah, as I go along, right, I will while doing the book as well, I would like to bring you into like to share like a chart, right? So that you can at least you can follow the discussion. Because I know that sometimes when you go when we learn the science of the end of time, of the end of times, right, that you can be very lost in a lot of the discussion, a lot of the the contents, right, what we're going to focus on and everything, right, and you don't see the flow. Like you might be lost in the flow, right, of this entire science. It's a full science that we're studying, and the whole point in understanding a science is so that you can apply it. That's the entire point of the science, right? You study a science, if something remains theoretical the entire time, then you have missed the point, right? You have not found, or you have not realized, or you have not been able to apply like what you have learned. Whereas for fiqh tahawulat, as with every science in Islam, If every study in Islam, the application is immediate. Right? The application is immediate. You don't actually wait until that you finish studying everything and then you apply. No, right? The application is here now. Right? It's immediate application. Subhanallah. Right. So that is what I hope that with every lesson, right, with every lesson we take into tahawulat, that you see, its immediacy, right, or the urgency, in fact, right, and the application of it in our lives right now. So this muqaddimah, actually covers the entire science altogether, right? But inshallah, I think that on, if I can share screen. Yeah. Fine, sorry. If I will share screen later on, um, to show the entire, like you see, the mind map, right? Mind map, and like, the flow chart, of the discussion, of the tahawulat. So last week, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I think, okay, my mark, I put it down to point number 6, point number 7 as well. Right, so point number 6 is tajdid fiqh da'wah ila Allah, right? So tajdid fiqh da'wah ila Allah, which is basically to renew, right, or renovate, right, as you can see in the English here, right, the methods of da'wah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bil hikmati wal maw'izati al hasana, right, in wisdom and good counsel, right? So basically, this is one of the two, you say, wazifa, right? Wazifa meaning roles. The two biggest roles, right, or the main roles of this knowledge, right, is to renew, right, or to reinvent, right, how we do da'wah. And this is crucial, right, because as the time changes, as you move from time to time, you move from zaman to zaman, you can't just keep to one method of da'wah. Right? Da'wah is, you will say, it is something that is versatile. Da'wah is something that changes with the times. Right? Da'wah is something that is from the beginning of Islam, that is science of da'wah. Right? From the time Rasulullah received the first message, right, till the end of time, right, there is the entire science of da'wah, of how do you bring the truth to people, right? And how do you present the truth to people, and how do you have people, right, stay with the truth no matter what happens. Subhanallah. Right, so right now, and really this is something that is being witnessed worldwide. Right, every single time there is like a major calamity, especially when Islam is in a sense, you say, flung into the limelight. Right, every single time Islam is really tossed out or placed right in the limelight, and there is a huge calamity, on the Muslims, right? You find worldwide people having a sudden interest, in Islam, and the number of people who convert into the religion, right, increases exponentially. Right, it's worldwide. So like things that, for example, like way back in during the September 11 attacks, right, that also was a surge in people coming to Islam, right? And this is the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done things in his creation, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has his wisdom as to why he does things, right? Subhanahu wa ta'ala, even with the Friday shootings at New Zealand. Right, some years ago, there were shootings, and there was a huge surge of people coming into Islam. Right? Every single time we have this huge, and it's something like a huge calamity. Allah has allowed to afflict, right, the Muslims, especially at the hands of those who are the zalimun, right, those who are the oppressors. Right? And the world can see clearly that these are oppressors, these are evil, human beings, rotten human beings, right? And what they are doing to innocent Muslims. There is a huge search, a huge, push for people, right, to suddenly be interested, in Islam, as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, highlighting Islam and bringing it to the attention of those who have been heedless about this religion, all the while. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is fair. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as you move towards the end of time, you will see the groups becoming more and more distinct. Right? You will see people of goodness, right, in their hearts, people of righteousness, right? They will be the ones who will move more and more towards God, right, towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and embracing the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is a hadith, that speaks about how many of the Westerners, the Europeans, right, they call it the Romans, in Islamic, literature, they call it the Romans, right? Basically, the Westerners, the whites, and the Westerners, there'll be a huge surge of them coming into Islam. a huge surge of them, right? To the point that there are also of the hadith. We will all see in fiqh tahawulat, right? So that there will be a large group of them in the army of the Mahdi towards the end of time. Right? And subhanAllah, like right now you see the demonstrations going on, worldwide, right? For Palestine, the demonstrations going on worldwide for Palestine. Look at how the non-Muslims are behaving. So you hear like streets being flooded in where? Italy, right? In Rome, right? These are not non-Muslim lands, right? And the streets are being flooded with people who are demonstrating, and protesting against the crimes of Israel, right? And standing firm with the Palestinians. Subhanallah, tayyib, haula tayyibun, right? They have beautiful hearts, right? These people, and you will see. And the thing about Fiqh Hawlat, and this yesterday I was in the class with Anisa, and she was just hiding all those things to us, and the thing about Fitahawla is that it gives you so much hope and so much, like so much tranquility. Like in a world where people feel so much hopelessness and helplessness. Right. But when you learn the nas, when you learn the nusus, when you learn the text, right, the words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he tells you this will happen and this will happen and this will happen, and they will happen because they're prophecies, right? They are prophecies, right? What you gain from this, right, is this tranquility and firmness, and steadfastness that okay, subhanallah, many bad things are happening right now, right? But look at the bigger picture. Look at the entire, like you would say, the entire view of things, right? From the perspective of what it is headed towards. Subhanallah. And as Muslims, that's how we see things. We see things with an akhirah point of view. Right. As with an akhirah point of view, we see that, on the day of judgment, who are really the successful and who are really the losers. On the day of judgment, that's what we see. Subhanallah, right? So there's clarity. There's clarity when you learn this science, and you take things in steps. Something I see about our teachers when we, who teach us, Tahawulat, right? They have such calmness in them, such tranquility, such steadfastness in them. They're not panicking. They're not, like going into despair. They're not going into anguish. They're not going into all kinds of like negative emotions, right? But they're very firm and they're very focused on what are we looking for, what are we headed towards, what is important right now. I look at our ulama, look at our scholars, right? They're just so firm like mountains, and they just keep telling us, remember your Surah Kahfi, remember your dua after at before salams, right? Seeking protection from Dajjal. Remember to do all these things. Remember the most important thing to you right now is to learn your fardu ain. Remember, and they point you to all these things, subhanallah, like subhanallah. Anyway, I was going into all these things because of the methods of dawah. And as you move through the time, right, as you move through time, and you move towards the end of time, right, there has to be, a continuous renewing of the methods of da'wah, right, because every zaman you need to have the tongue of the people who speak to that zaman, right? The tongue of the people who speak to that zaman, right? You must have that, right? So subhanAllah, so even for myself, I'm trying my best, right, to learn what's going on in my society, right? In Singapore, what's going on for our youth, what's going on for our children, what are they watching? What are they listening to? Right? What are they exposed to? Because how can you do that, or how can you call people to the truth, right, when you have no clue what people are up against? You don't know, right? So even things like for me, like, this is one of my biggest weakness is really I don't understand mental health. For me it's my own weakness. I don't understand it. Like so like I try to read stuff and I try to get into the world of mental health because I know it's a big thing. It's a major thing that many people face. And you can't just sweep it under the rug and you can just like walk off and say that, oh, it's just in your head, it's in your mind, you're just imagining it. Like, and you can't just just dismiss it like that, because we're in a zaman where many people, it is very real for them. This is very real, right? For them, what they are struggling with, right? So those who are doing da'wah, those who are calling people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? They need to get their hands in this, right? And get their feet, their hands, right? Go into it and to understand what's really going on, right? With our people. Muslims and non-Muslims alike. Subhanallah, this is one of the biggest things in fiqh tahawulan, right? Whereby Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would tell us, right, what are the challenges that every, phase in society, or every phase in time, not society, but time, right? It's called marhala. In fiqh tahawul, we call it marhala. Like marhala meaning like a phase in time. This is very important in fiqh tahawul to actually identify what is your marhala. Like, what is the marhala that you are in, that you are living in right now? What is the phase in time? Like, what is the period of time that you are living in right now? Right. So that, for example, the best marhala, the best phase in time is the marhala of nubuwah, right? The entire phase in time of prophethood. Right. So that physical, space in time, right, of prophethood, the Sahaba, right, all they do is turn to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. There is nothing further than that than to turn to Rasulullah Alaihi Wasallam and get his answer, and his directives in whatever that comes to them. Right? And then after he passed away, right, comes 30 years of righteous leadership. As the Prophet has told us, right, the Khulafa al-Rashidin is 30 years, right? 30 years exactly till the day Sayyidina Hassan bin, Sayyidina Ali, whereby Sayyidina Hassan stepped down, right, from being a Khalifa. It completed exactly 30 years from the date of death of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Exactly 30 years. Subhanallah, Sayyidina Ali, when he was assassinated, he was killed, it was 6 months short. It was 6 months short of exactly completing the years from the death of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Sayyidina Hassan took over, and Sayyidina Hassan, the day he stepped down, right, it actually, and Allah has arranged it, it actually completed exactly 30 years, right, from the date of death of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, as Rasul has said in a hadith that the righteous leadership after me, or the Khulafa al-Rashidin, after me, it is 30 years. Then thereafter, it will be dynasty. Right? It will be kings, right, who will inherit kingdom from each other, and it will be in a time whereby there is a lot of unfairness. And subhanAllah, inshallah, as you go through the hawla, we will speak about all of these things, right? And we'll speak about our zaman right now. And then when you identify what is going on in our zaman right now, and what Rasulullah SAW is telling us about our zaman right now. Right? So we are in a zaman, or we are in a marhala, right, in a period of time, right, whereby it's called the Ghusai. We are called in the marhala Ghusaiyah. Ghusaiyah, right, whereby Rasulullah SAW said that there will come a time whereby the Muslims, right, they will be, devoured, like how animals come around food and they devour the food, and Muslims will be devoured. And there'll come a time whereby Muslims will be devoured. And the Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, is it because we are few? Is it because our numbers, we are few? And he says, no, but you are many. In another word, you are many, you are many, you are many. You're so numerous of Muslims. And now we are like, subhanAllah, how many Muslims are there? The second largest, I think, region in the world, the Muslims. But he said, but you all are like they said the ghusa is sail, right? The ghusa is sail, it refers to like the scum that comes with the floods, right? You're like, it's a lot, but useless. A lot, but useless, right? There is no strength, right? In the Muslims in this zaman, there's no strength, except for very few who do have strength, as we can see and we witness very, very clearly right now in Gaza. Like we witness them, and they have strength like no one else on this face of this planet. They have strength, and that is why the Israelis are terrified of them. They're actually terrified, right? And Allah Subhanahu wa Taala exposes them, in the Quran. In Surah Hashr, Allah exposes Allah calls them in Surah Hashr, الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ. Allah does not say Yahudi, He doesn't say Jews. Allah says, الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ, which means those who disbelieve from the people of the book. Right? Allah is very, very, very specific in His terminology, right? Very specific, right? So not just like a blanket, statement, Jews. No, Allah says those who disbelieve of the people of the book, those who disbelieve, right? Very clear, Very clear. Because there are those who are the Yahudi, and there are the Jews, and then there are those who الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ. And there are those who disbelieve of the people of the book. And there are those. And Allah is very clear of who they are. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He speaks about people, He speaks of them with regards to their traits. You will not find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, putting a blanket rule over a race of people, right, or a type of people, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about traits, right, about traits that are praiseworthy, traits that are blameworthy, traits that Allah hates, and traits that Allah loves. Right? And never like a blanket, statement over just like a group just because of their race in that way. You won't find it. You won't find it. Subhanallah. So anyway, so basically to understand the time that you are in, to understand the time that you are in, so that you can respond, right, to what's going on around you, right, and to help people like hold on to the truth of this religion, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So right now, and because this is the topic right now, right? Right now, the topic of what's going on in Palestine, and for us to actually understand what's going on there, and also the importance of us to explain this to the next generation. Because the worst thing that could happen right now is that our children receive the wrong news of what's going on in Al-Qudus, right, in the sacred land of Palestine, right, that our Muslim children, they get the wrong news of what's going on there, and the big calamity is that they begin to believe, right, the lies being spread on the media. Right, that is the biggest calamity. Why? Because there will come a day, right, whereby the everybody on this earth, everybody, not just those who are in Palestine, right? Everybody on this earth will begin to choose sides. This is very near. It is very near. It could be our children, it could be our children's children, right? Whereby they will have to choose a side of the Mahdi or the Dajjal. Right? And you don't want your children or your descendants, whenever this will manifest, you don't want them to fall into the other side. وَلَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. So every generation has the responsibility to inform the next generation of what's the truth. What is the truth, and what do you hold on to? Right? And this is why you find the words of Rasulullah to be our guide. Right, whereby he sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said, Allahumma barik lana fi shamina wa yamnina. But Rasulullah said that, oh Allah, bless us in our Sham. Our Sham covers Syria, Palestine, it's called the Levant, right? Lebanon, right? Parts of Jordan. These are all called as Sham. This is Sham, right? And Rasulullah said, Ya Allah, bless us in our Sham and our Yemen. Yemen is where I'm at right now, right? So Yemen, right? And what some of the scholars have commented on that is that look at the scholars there, look at the ulama there, look at the righteous there, right? They are very firm, they're very strong, and some has pointed us to these people, and Allahu alam, Allah knows best, right? So, but the words of Rasulullah cannot be dismissed. They cannot be dismissed, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right, so every generation, right? So right now we are the adults of our generation, right? It is our responsibility, right? Our responsibility to let our children know, right, what exactly is going on in the Holy Land of Palestine, right? What exactly is going on, the history of it, right? How it began. It is our responsibility to tell them, because if we don't tell them, somebody else will, right? And when somebody else tells them, then they be fed lies, right? And that is what you don't want them to face. It's all under methods of da'wah, right? Because to keep their iman firm, right? And again, we're also going to tell them, right, about Allah's promise, right, about Allah's help. And you see the Palestinians, subhanAllah, I was just reflecting this earlier today when I was in class, that if this calamity that's going on in Palestine, right, and you see how the iman shines so strongly to the point you feel so ashamed of yourself. Is my iman like that? Like you see the Palestinians, you see how they are being so afflicted, and their iman shines so strongly, subhanallah. And there are many stories right now going around, about them seeing angels, and them seeing the like the Sahaba's time in Battle of Badr, where the angels came down and helped the Sahaba and everything. There are many stories going online about Palestinians actually witnessing, men in white, right, helping them, and Allah is with them. Allah is with them, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is always with the oppressed, right? But I was reflecting, if this same calamity were to afflict us in the first world countries, how many of our believers will leave Islam? Subhanallah. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Right? I mean, you think about it. Like in our first world countries, right? People lose their jobs and they leave Islam. People get sick and they leave Islam. Right? People like the slightest calamity happens to someone and they leave Islam. Subhanallah. Allah knows where to place his bala. No bala. Allah subhanahu knows where to place his trials, his imtihan, his ikhtibar. Right? Allah knows where to place his trials. And Allah knows that for these people over there, right, the more they are tested, the more they are tried, the more you will see them shout La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The more you will see them do that. And our people over here in the world, in the first world countries, right, slightest thing happens. Why does Allah allow this to happen? Why does Allah make this happen to me? Why does Allah? Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Think about it. Think about it. Subhanallah. We should, we should work harder with our iman. Subhanallah. I'm gonna continue. Right. So this is one of the biggest roles of this knowledge, right? Which basically makes it primary, because da'wah is primary in our religion. As Rasulullah said that to the end of time, someone will wake up as a believer and come to the evening as a disbeliever, and they will come to the evening as a believer and wake up in the morning as a disbeliever. They will sell their religion for some measly gain of this earth, or of this dunya. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. And this is why, the people of Palestine, so that there was one sheikh who was saying that, they will never leave, their land of Palestine. They will never leave Gaza. Um, um, right? Because they say that, to leave, right? To leave is to go from a physical trial, because it's a physical test, to a spiritual test of going into a world where people are losing their iman. Right? Because so many of them who have fled from these lands to the Western lands, to other non-Muslim lands, they have their own children murtad, their own children leaving Islam. So the mashayikh who are there right now, they're like, we are not leaving this land because we want our children to die on La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Right? Not in some of the land whereby they completely, abandon their religion, and abandon their beliefs. What has happened, they've been sent to the slaughter. Their iman has been sent to the slaughter in another land. Right? Here, at least their body is not their iman. Right? In another land, is their iman that is sent to the slaughter, and that has eternal consequences, as opposed to temporary consequences, of the dunya. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Subhanallah, these are all the things that's going on right now. And I can't teach this without reflecting on what's going on in right now in the world, because that will be going against the entire point of Iqtahawlat. The whole point of Iqtahawlat is that whatever you're in right now, the religion gives you a lens on how you can read this and how you can understand this, right? So we are understanding global happenings, right? That is what Fiqh is about. Fiqh is basically, looking at global phenomena and understanding it through the lens of Islam. That's what it's about. And that's the whole crux of it. Right? Subhanallah. Because Islam covers every single part of human experience, isn't it? And we believe that as Muslims. Islam covers every single part of human experience. So when I say, okay, I understand that. So I know when it comes to marriage, the laws of marriage, when it comes to the laws of parents and children, when it comes to worship, when it comes to fasting, when it comes to zakat, when it comes to character and so on and so forth. Yes, I understand. I understand all of these things, right? Where my religion comes in and guides me in them. Then comes the question: what about the wars? What about the earthquakes? What about, the inventions that's going on in our zaman? What about, there's so many things in our experience what does Islam say about this? Where do I find Islam's guidance? Guys from Islam about these things. Where do I find them? In Fiqh Tahawalat. That is exactly where it is. Right? So every single dimension, aspect of human experience, Islam has addressed it. Right? Islam has spoken about it and given a direction. That's why Islam is a way of life. Islam is a guidance for life. Right? And so you can say that, all this stuff has no place in our religion. It's just something that happens in the world. No, to say that, it is in a sense to contradict like what we believe in regards to Islam being a way of life. Right? If I say, okay, all this happening, all this phenomena in the world, all these happenings in the world, I mean, these are all like worldly stuff that has nothing to do with religion. No, you can't say that, because Islam has come to give guidance to every single aspect of human experience, of human experience, every single aspect, right? And so you're wondering, where is the guidance? It's right here in fiqh tahawulat. That is what it is, right? So mashallah, I hope you're following my discussion. I hope I'm not making people, so overwhelmed with so many things talking about, right? But it's really basically this is what we're trying to do. As right now, right here, right now, we're applying this knowledge. Right. So we're going through and we're looking at this at right now, the events of the world today, right, to the lens of Islam. Right. Inshallah, as I go through more and more, I will explain more and more with the hadith of what's going on, what are we expecting right now, what is coming next right now, in this in with this with what's going on uh in Palestine, right? And subhanallah, yesterday there was a discussion on one of my groups, right, whereby I think there was a video that was being spread. I don't know who is the one who's spreading it, but there was a video that was being spread about, that Israel, what they're doing with Palestine. It's all about oil, it's all about money, it's all about economy. I'm not sure if any of you have seen the video. Right? And the thing about it is that, if you learn Fiqh Tahawulat, right, it's all in it. It is all not that. It's not that, right? Because if Israel is interested in the oil, because they claim or they say there is an offshore any oil any source, right, on off the coast of Palestine, right? So and Israel wants to get there and to get to the oil, which is why they are running Gaza to the ground. That doesn't make sense. You know why? Because Israel is in full control, right, of want to get their oil, they go and get their oil. They don't have to run Gaza to the ground to go and get their oil. And in fact, if they really want their oil, and they have been stealing people's oil for generations, yani. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. It's not something new that they've been taking. They've been taking the oil of Palestine for a long time. Right? It's not something new at all. And if they want to take their oil, they will take their oil secretly and not, make a like, big like make a big, news about it, about them, killing all these innocents just for oil. They won't be doing that, right? There's something else going on that's making them, run Gaza to the ground. Why? Why are they doing this? That's so simple. They're destroying the army of the enemy of their leader, and their leader is Dajjal. Full stop. If you can see that, if you can see that Israel are the slaves of Dajjal, they are, they are, full stop. There's no argument about this. They are the slaves of Dajjal, right? They are in service of Dajjal. They are worshippers of Dajjal, right? What they're doing now is to destroy the strongest people, like who will be in the army of the enemy of Dajjal, who is the Mahdi. If you look at it in the big picture, you see what's going on. They want death. They actually want death. They're not looking for anything else. They're not looking for oil, looking for anything else. They want death. They want to destroy. They want to kill. Right? They want to kill in the thousands and millions. Right? Because why? This is the awliya. Right? In Gaza are the awliya. The awliya are there. The people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are there. Right? It is a concentration camp, they call it that, but it's a concentration of the strongest human beings with Iman. And this terrifies the army of the Dajjal. They are terrified because one strong believer can basically fight how many of them. And you see, look at the Palestinians with the rocks. They're throwing the kids are throwing rocks at huge tanks. The kind of strength. You wonder at that, right? You wonder at that, the kind of strength, the kind of they have no fear. Oh yeah, Allah. I can go on about this, but really, look at it. Just look at it. Like, what are they doing there? They're destroying the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what they're doing. They're killing off the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because they are afraid of the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have full strength. Right? They have strong, they have Allah with them subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so the rest of us as Muslims increase our iman, increase our ibadah, increase our awrad, right? We need to up our game. Like we need to bring up our game. Subhanallah, and prepare ourselves to be strong believers. Because the things that because what differentiated the Sahaba, like, from the disbelievers in time of Rasulullah sallallahu was their iman, full stop. Was their iman, full stop. It was not their military strength. It was not the Sahaba went out to Badr with two swords. Do you know that? And the Sahaba went out to Badr, two swords, right? Not eight. Yeah, I know. There was a 313 of them, and they had I think was eight swords, eight swords. I know it wasn't 10. Right? They had like a number of swords. You could count their swords. They went up to Badr, right? And the disbelievers had an army of 1,000. Every single one of them had swords. I think two swords, eight swords and two horses. Sahaba, subhanallah. Right, eight swords and two horses going out to Badr. Right, this is what it is. Right, and it is the disbelievers. They know this that the strong Muslim, the firm believer, they don't stand a chance, right, against the firm believer. So on us right now to increase our iman, increase the iman of our children, remove from our lives what shreds away our iman. I want to do another video about this issue, right? But really, honestly, subhanallah, we need to start to really clean out our lives, remove from our lives what shreds apart our iman, remove it fully, right? The music, throw it out. It's not worth it. It's not worth the argument. Right? It is destroying the iman of people. Right? It puts people into a trance. Right? It shreds their iman. Rasulullah said in the hadith that a person's Islam will be it will be what's the English for it, shaved, right? It'll be shaved off a person, like how you shave off someone's hair from their head. The religion of a person is shaved off that person, right? And it's through the media. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So stop, if you've not stopped music, if you've not stopped movies, if you've not stopped all this, Korean, Japanese nonsense, right? All this stuff, if you've not stopped anime, if you've not stopped all this stuff, right? Stop it. Okay, stop it. Because all of these things, they are injecting poison into your iman, right? And when the time comes, the iman will just drop off dead, right? There's no worth in that person's iman anymore if they keep feeding the iman all these poisons. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Tamam. Continuing from there, right? So, and through knowledge, I don't know if I'm okay, right, to saying all this stuff. I don't care, honestly. We speak the truth, right? We speak the truth, right? I'm not saying anything is wrong. I'm not calling for hate against anyone in Singapore. Right? I'm not causing any racial discord in Singapore, right? So government, like, we have to Allah hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Now, but I'm just saying the truth, saying the truth, right? Saying the truth of what's going on, right? Of the operations going on. It's clear. It's clear, right? Oh, wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. The believer does not the believer does not fear the blame of the blamers. لا يخافون لومة لائم. Right? You don't fear the blame of the blamers. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Tamam. Continuing from there, right? So that's number 6, right? So then بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة, right? Number 7 وصيانة علمية لثوابت الفقه الأصول وأوعيته العدل. Right? That is number 7, right? So and it is and through knowledge and through knowledge protect the well-established essential sciences of Islam and its upright and trustworthy scholars is number 7. Get the whole thing, okay? True knowledge, get online. Right? Protect the well-established essential sciences of Islam and its upright and trustworthy scholars. Okay, the essential science of Islam, which called the Thawabit, these are called our Iman, Islam, and Ihsan. And make dua we can stay here in Tarim because Yemen, apparently, Yemen has just declared war against Israel. So Ya Allah, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Do you all see the news? Do you all see the news? I mean, I'm just making dua that I can stay here and finish my degree, in this knowledge, in my diploma in this knowledge. I'm doing a degree and a diploma at the same time in fiqh tahawalat. I don't know when I might be, forced to go back to Singapore, right? The diploma is 2 years, the degree is 4 years. So but do you all just read it? Just yeah, I saw it yesterday. That's why it's part of the entire discussion on one of our groups, right? Whereby like, Yemen apparently, and I say apparently because we're in a world of liars. So honestly, you know what? Like we know as Muslims, and we know for matter of fact, whatever claims that they have made against the Palestinians. Oh, Palestinians killed babies, Palestinians killed the old people, Palestinians killed blah, 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 blah. You know what? I know in my heart it's all lies. It's lies of the liars. They're just lying because they want to bring up an excuse to bomb Palestine to the ground. It's all lies. They're just filthy liars. So right now you don't even know, did Yemen really wage war? Or are they just staging this so they can get their filthy hands on Yemen? Because Rasul said that may Allah bless our Sham and our Yemen. Rasul pointed to Sham and Yemen. Like this is where the righteous scholars will come from, Sham and Yemen. And all those who connect to them, all those in between who connect to them. And Sham and Yemen said, I don't know what's going on right now. I mean, we're just going to watch, see what's happening, because as you mentioned, it's a world of deception. It's a world of deception, of lies. So we don't even know, is this for real? Like, is this really from Yemen? Yemen is a third world country, barely, being able to feed themselves. They can hardly feed themselves here. They hardly have a government going on here. Right? It's hardly la hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Right? And like as you see, the Palestinians are struggling to eat, to drink. Right? Where are they getting the money to send all these missiles? To make you think, like it's just, like what's the truth in all of these things that all that this that the media is saying, or are they just staging stuff so they can do their crimes against innocents? You wonder, right? You wonder, you don't know who to believe. We know who to believe, our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. There's the only one that we know to believe, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and all those who walk his path of our scholars. Right? So inshallah, may Allah show us, give us clarity and understanding. We don't know what's going on right now. I'm just making dua that I can stay here and finish studying this knowledge. I don't know if you're gonna be forced to go back or la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And whatever Allah chooses to be best for us, whatever Allah chooses, whatever Allah chooses. Subhanallah. Right? Yeah, it's all lies. It's all lies. It's just filthy lies, right? And by now, as Muslims, you should know that whatever they have claimed, right, from the 7th of October, when they claimed that Israel was being attacked, right, it's all staged. I hope by now you all know this. It was all staged. Right? It's for them to get into Gaza and to start bombing everybody to the ground. I hope you all know this by now. Okay, don't be gullible and don't believe the filthy lies out there. Tamam. Um, tamam. Right. So, true knowledge. Tamam. Right. So, there is number 7, and the 7 is here. Right. So it is that. Tamam. Right. Right. So it's to protect علمية with knowledge. To protect with knowledge. لثوابت فقه الأصول, right? To protect with knowledge, right? Our, our essentials, which is what? Islam, Iman, Ihsan. These are the 3 essentials of Islam, right? The unchangeable, the firm parts of Islam. Our Iman, our Aqidah, our Islam, our Sharia, and our Ihsan, our Akhlaq. These 3 fardu ain, firm. So fiqh hawla comes in and places a fortress around these 3 to protect them in a time whereby these 3 will be attacked so severely that people are losing this 3. And the first one to go and has gone is ihsan, right? The entire signs of good character. Right? It's the first one to be destroyed in our zaman, and towards the end of time is the first thing to be destroyed. Look around us, look at our children, look at our youth. Right? Where is the ihsan? Right? Where is the good character? Where is the akhlaq? Right? And then will be attacked the sharia. The sharia, as we know it, will be attacked, will be removed, will be stripped, right, from the Muslims, and then eventually the aqidah. Right? People will be losing inside every believer, Islam, Iman, and Ihsan, right? And without learning the attacks from the Zaman, right? Without learning where the attacks are coming from, right? These 3 are being exposed to being destroyed. So fiqh tahawulat comes in and makes this fortress around these 3. So right now, as I teach children, or as I teach, trying to have classes with more children, as we teach, as adults, as we teach our young, like we need to bring in, already the protection, right, over these 3, Islam, Iman, Ihsan. So for example, when we speak about Ihsan, okay, Ihsan, right, when we speak about inward sciences, about good character, right, about righteousness, about uprightness, and akhlaq, when we speak about this, it has become essential for us to point out where bad character comes in as an influence. it has become wajib on us to point out, right? So we can point out, that in this Disney movie, in this, cartoon, in this kind of series, in this kind of music, you see what they say to people, you see how people change their behavior, you see how children become rude towards their parents the more they are watching all this stuff. So we need to highlight to them where the ihsan crumbles, right? Where is it being attacked from? Where are the attacks coming from? So that Muslims can now begin to understand, Afwan, that Muslims can begin to understand that they need to stop all these things. That's why I'm mentioning over and over again. We have to we have to see what is evil clearly. It's not enough to just preach what is good. You need to highlight where is evil. And that is since the time of Rasulullah, where Sayyidina Huzaifa, and he's one of the foremost Sahaba in this knowledge, whereby he said, I used to ask the Prophet ﷺ about evil. Like everyone used to ask him about goodness, but I used to ask him about evil. Like not to do it, but to protect myself from it. Right. And Rasulullah used to teach him where evil comes in. So it shows us that it's not enough to just speak about goodness. You need to speak about where evil comes from and how evil disguises itself to come in the lives of human beings, of Muslims, in the form of goodness. It's not goodness, it's evil. Right? So, for example, as I take Sharia, you highlight to the young that nowadays people leave the prayers. They so easily let go of the prayers because of school, because of work, because of dunya. They so easily let go. People nowadays, they're so shy to wear the hijab. People nowadays, and from a very young age, right, we speak about this, what's going on out there. Like I do speak to my students, to the children, about atheists and what do atheists say, what do atheists believe in, and how do we, from a very young age, how do we counter these mindsets, right? When we say, oh, there's no God because of da, 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 and they give all the excuses why there is no God, then from a very young age, you teach them, right, to have the rebuttal in their heads, that they know how to counter such lies from the Zaman. You get it? Right? It's the same thing like with the entire theory of evolution. These all the words of the whispers of our Zaman, right? And if we don't prepare them in their hearts, in their iman, in their heads, in the form of knowledge on how to counter all these things that are being aimed, at their religion, their iman, their aqidah, their sharia, their ihsan, right? If you don't prepare them with, with all the shields, these fortresses, right? Then that's how these things seep in, and how people lose their religion, lose their faith. And wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah, we have seen them in our lifetime, right? I don't know if I think almost everybody has knows of someone in their life whereby this person grew up well on the religion, and then only that to find in their old in their adulthood they left the religion. I'm sure the Zama has come to a point whereby everyone knows someone. Like everyone knows someone. Am I wrong? Right? Does everybody here, do you know of someone whom you saw them once in their life, they were very strong on the religion, and then now you see them crumble, and they have no more iman, they have no more sharia, they have no more practices in Islam, they have left Islam, some of them. I know several people in my life, right? They grew up very strong, even memorized Quran, right? Understood the Sharia and studied the Sharia, then left everything. Why? Because exposed to the whispers of the time and unable to counter it, not knowing how to counter it, right? And then therefore swept up, right, by the whispers of the time and then left the religion. Like subhanallah, I'm pretty sure that almost so many of us like have, like almost every person has someone in your life, that or someone that maybe whether it's distant or whether it is close, someone that you know of, right, who has left. And towards the end of time, we'll get more and more. Right? This is why the hawla comes in, right? For us to prepare them, right? To prepare the young, especially, like, against the whispers of the Zaman, right? For them to be able to be firm and to cancel out, like cancel culture, right? To cancel out what the whispers are saying against our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, against our religion of Islam. Tamam, right? So to protect us, so it is shiyana, right? It is the protection ilmiya from knowledge. Right, لثوابت فقه الأصول, right, on the firm foundations of our religion of Islam, Iman, Ihsan, وأوعيته العدول, and these are our scholars. Right, our scholars. And also you find that, the books I'm writing for children right now, all of these, all guided by the words of Rasulullah, inshallah, right, to have a ta'zim, right, to have an exaltation of our scholars, the real scholars, right, the real ulama of Islam, to respect them and to raise them and to exalt them, because they are the inheritors of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right, towards the end of time, this was going to happen, and we can see it all around us. People are doubting the scholars of Islam, and they have placed themselves with zero knowledge, right, above the very strong knowledge of our scholars. Right, they have placed themselves in their completely baseless opinions, right, and they have placed themselves above, right, what our ulama, of hundreds, more than 1,000 years of traditional Islamic scholarship, right? What they are saying, the Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, Imam Malik, Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, right? The great Imam Ghazali, right? Imam Nawawi, right? The great Imams, of Islam, whereby the statements have been established by generations of scholars in Islam. These people in our zaman, they place their opinions above all the scholars. This is the one thing we have to teach and emphasize in our young, that we respect our scholars, we respect scholarship, right? We obey what people of knowledge tell us, right? And we don't go with just the wahm, or the assumptions, or the thoughts, or the opinions of people out there who have no value or no worth whatsoever in their opinions, in just their own thinking and their own nafs, like going around. And subhanAllah, I can go on and on about this now. I mean, of so many examples right now that's going on. Right, the biggest one of it is, people right now dismissing the prayer. It's the entire thing of dismissing the prayer. Right, people right now dismissing. Of course, the hijab has been attacked for a long time in the modern age, and not before the modern age. Only in the modern age that the hijab has been attacked. Like prior to this, no one ever said anything, about, oh, they've been wrong all the while. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. It's only recent history out of 1,400 years of Islam, recent history, people are saying, oh, they've been wrong all the while. And it's just their own desires, their own nafs, like saying such things. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. تمام. نعم. تمام. في عصر كثر فيه اللغط والجدل، وصارت ألسنة وأقلام رويبضات ومروجي الفتن تقيس الأمور بمقياس الرأي والظن. That's exactly what I was saying earlier. Right, so number 8. Okay, number 8 is fiqh al-usul. Number 8 is fiqh al-usul. And number 7 is where? Number 7 is siyana. Okay. The essential science of Islam. So I've explained number 8 as well. Number 8 is under essential science of Islam, number 8. Right, number 9, fi asrin, right, in a time. Right, this is especially important because of these modern days. Modern days, number 8, this modern days in a time, right, whereby there is widespread confusion and chaotic argumentation. Tamam? Right, so in a time whereby there's so much confusion because so many people, the world is filled with ignoramus, like basically ignorant human beings having very loud voices. Welcome to our zaman. You have the world of Twitter, the world of what? The world of Twitter, the world of Instagram, the world of, I don't know what's going on right now. TikTok, right? I need to know more what's going on right now, right? To be able to know the zaman. Right? We have all this world of influences, and so scary, they're called influencers. They have no knowledge whatsoever, right? No knowledge whatsoever. I was watching, I think, I think like 2 years ago, there was this I'm not sure if it was a phenomena, was a trend of Muslim influencers who were wearing the hijab, and there was like a sudden, trend of so many of them throwing off the hijab. Yeah, nice correct. Oh well, what's going on? I never to Twitter. I honestly like Twitter is just a bunch of people just voicing their opinions, and it has no worth whatsoever. Do you realize that Twitter is just people just talking? And I looked at it one time, long time ago, I think 2016, 2017. I tried to look into Twitter and I was like, this is like rubbish, complete rubbish going on Twitter. Like, this is a whole bunch of human beings just talking and just posting all kinds of random stuff in the comments. I don't know what's the point. Oh, I still don't understand what's the point of Twitter. Okay, la hawla wala quwwata illa billah. But it just makes, maybe it's what it is the words of Rasulullah. People just want to share their opinions, and they don't have the humility to know that their opinions don't matter. I mean, my opinion does not matter. And some people must when they ask you questions, and they are stuck questions, say, what do you think, or what do you feel, or what do what is your opinion? And then they ask the question that is fiqh. It's fiqh. And I'm like, it's not what I feel or think or my opinion, but it's what's the truth. It's basically that. I'm just going to give you from the books of fiqh, not what I think. Who cares what Farhana thinks? I mean, it's not my thoughts that matter. They don't matter. Subhanallah. But Twitter is basically like a platform where everyone's like, oh, look at, hear me, hear me. Subhanallah. Allah Alam, I don't know. I have not been in that platform. I went that one time years ago. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. And I left it. I never looked back. Um, but Subhanallah, this is what is mentioned here. Right, in modern days, whereby widespread confusion and chaotic argumentation of people who have no knowledge whatsoever, opinions of the utterly, go down, right? Opinions of the utterly, the ruwaibidat, right? So the ruwaibidat, right, in Arabic, so wasarat al-alsinatu wa aqlamu ruwaibidat. So ruwaibidat in Arabic, أحقر الناس الذي تتكلم على على أحسن الناس هم أخص الناس. Right, so in Arabic, it says the ruwaibidat is from the words of Rasulullah. So that's when you find very interesting Arabic terminology, right, in fiqh tahawulat that Habib Abu Bakr uses. 100% I would say it is from the Prophet. Right? This is very interesting terminology. It is from our beloved Wasallam. He has specific ways in which he has called certain things. So like you can see the Arabic, right? He called scholars to be awa'iyah, awa'iyatil udul. Like awa'iyah in Arabic means containers. Like containers of integrity and credibility. This is how Rasulullah has called the scholars in his ummah. They are named, they are containers, right, of credibility and integrity. We look to them for guidance. And so on the flip side, right, is what's going on now. What this off can you scroll up a bit? The English is below. And who's Amira's holding the English screen, eh? Below the opinions of the athlete, there's something below that. Or am I the one who's not seeing it? Right, the ones after opinions of the athlete was what he used. Rumor promoters, which are based on the widespread something. The Arabic is full. Right, so so in a time whereby argumentation is under there. Where's not there? She's not moving the screen. I don't have the English with me. So in a time whereby there is widespread confusion, chaotic argumentation, and the opinions of the utterly useless, I'll call them that, right? The utterly, I don't know what is the utterly useless, right? So they're called ahkarunas. They are the most despised human beings. And they are commenting on the best of human beings, the scholars. So you have this random layman, right? And subhanAllah, I don't know if you have seen these kind of videos whereby random laymen, they hardly even pray, they're hardly even doing any zikr whatsoever, right? They're having all this, like, I don't know, they're all dressed up in a very strange way, and then they are commenting on the likes of Imam Ghazali, they're commenting on likes of the great Imams, they're commenting on likes of, and you're like, it's meant for real. Like subhanallah, they have absolutely no knowledge whatsoever, and they're commenting and commenting and commenting. They have not learned even the most basic science in Islam. And they're commenting and commenting and commenting just because they have some popularity online. There are some, influencer, there are some, there's some, I don't know, name online, right? Then their opinions are just airing out their opinions. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. So it's in the zaman, okay, whereby majority of human beings will be following, right, and afflicted by these personalities that are of no worth whatsoever. Right, their opinions are of no worth, right, and they are of no worth, right, whatsoever. They're called the Ruwaibidots, right? Ruwaibidots, they are people who have no worth whatsoever, right? And these are those who will. I need to call Amira to move the English screen. I don't know what's in English. So basically, in a time whereby the fitna, right, is being widespread, right, because of ra'i wa dhann, right, because of people's opinions and people's perceptions, right, and which is why there is no. Can you move the screen, Amira? I cannot see the English. Are you there? Down a bit, down a bit. I cannot see the English. Or am I the only one not seeing the English? I can see up to utterly. Like I said, I can see the word widespread. And I can see what's after that. Is it like, can you move it? Or somehow either. Your Tesla is like panicking, don't know what to do. Yeah, I'll give a break. Tamam. Right. So wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Tamam. برأيي والظن. Right. So it's all based on opinions and perceptions. So all the more get off social media. All the more, right? All the more. Um, you, well, with regards to social media, I want to give a commentary on social media. Um, with regards to social media, there is a lot of rubbish on social media, as you all know. At the same time, we do get information from it. But right now, from what I have seen in Telegram and in WhatsApp, you can actually follow specific pages, right, that gives you information that you want to know. So like for myself personally, I'm following right now a few like contents, from WhatsApp and Telegram about what's going on in Palestine. I want to be in the know and I want to know what's going on, right? So I'm following these pages, right? So and has freed me from from having to enter into social media, right? So basically, and I know like some of the scholars, the righteous, the awliya, the ulama, they have their own pages as well on Telegram and on Instagram, on Telegram and on WhatsApp. And that kind of like it kind of keeps things very specific as to what you want to know. Okay, so basically, with regards to social media, what I would say to everyone is, if you are on social media, write down your intentions. Okay, write down your intentions, and then keep to that. So whatever you're doing does not fall in line with your intentions, your writer's intentions, then you need to remove that. Okay, so if you are, for example, on social media because you want to maintain ties of kinship, right? You want to maintain silaturahim, which I found WhatsApp does the same thing. WhatsApp is basically good enough. A family WhatsApp group, is better than to have it all online and having people's pictures all for the world to see, right? But Allah Alam, people have different ways of doing things, right? So if that's your intention, then be very selective as to who you follow, right? Who comes into your feed. Be very selective if that's your intention. If your intention is to do da'wah, or to receive dawah, right? Then again, be very selective as to what comes into your feed. Okay? That's basically lah. That's basically the only good intentions I can think about. I mean, I would say, what's the good intention behind social media? I would say silaturahim. Hey, you can go that way if you want. And dawah, right? Dawah either to give dawah or to receive dawah, right? What else? Come on, what else is a good intention with social media? Um, yeah, right. I mean, if you want to give like good, you want to give out in charity, you want to give out, you want to support causes, you could literally go to the organizations that do it and go to their websites and just do it there, right? Think about it. Okay. So and like 99% of the time or 90% of the time, you're just watching or reading stuff that's just full of rubbish, right? And it just bothers you and takes your time and brings you away from your religion. Think about it. Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us clarity. Now, so continuing, so such knowledge, so it says here that there is number 10. I said number 10 is وَأَقْلَامِ الْرُوَيْبِضَاتِ. Right, the tens, right, the Surah Anam. So known for widespread confusion, chaotic argumentation, opinions of the utterly worthless, and rumor promoters. Our Zaman is like the highlight of this type of human beings. Right, they are opinions of utterly worthless human beings and rumor promoters, which are based on the widespread acceptance of mere conjecture and an imbalanced criteria. They have completely no sense, in their statements, their thoughts. Just regard any person right now can go on social media and make a channel for themselves and just spread all kinds of nonsense from their own minds right now, right? And save yourselves from that. That's number 10. Okay, number 11. وخاصة من أولئك الذين يؤمنون بعلوم النظريات المجردة ويولونها الاهتمام عفوا وثقة أكثر من اهتمامهم وثقتهم بما جاء به المعصوم صلى الله عليه وسلم. Number 11. So specifically, like خاصة, specifically those who believe very strongly in theories more than they do in the infallible Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is our zaman right now. They believe so much more in what science says, scientific theory, in scientific methods, more than their trust in what our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has come with. Right, subhanallah. And now this it is very, very bluntly. Like one of the things that this is talking about is people's belief and trust in the physical than in the spiritual. So, like for example, people do not see that, coming together and doing salawat nariyah, coming together and doing dua qunut nazila, coming together and doing, 2 rakats of hajat every single night, right? For the ummah, for Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? People don't have the trust in these things as much as they have trust in things that are madiyah, right, which basically means physical means. So people in our zaman, they have more trust, right? They have more reliance, they have more belief in physical, chemicals, right? Physical methods, right? In trying to find solution than they do in spiritual methods. And it's a calamity, It's calamity. Why? Because spiritual methods come from our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And who told us about this stuff? Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He told us, about what we can recite, what we can read, what we can say, what we can do in our dhikr and our salawat. He told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is not to say you can't take physical methods, right? Like for example, with illness and cure and whatever, you can. The calamity is when people trust these physical methods more than they do spiritual methods and end up, running towards physical methods and abandoning the spiritual methods and not seeing that spiritual methods are efforts. These count as efforts. They are. And in fact, they're stronger efforts, right? SubhanAllah. Doing 70,000 Slawats is not a small deal. It's a big deal. 70,000 slawats or 7,000 istighfar, or doing dua kunut, to the hundreds of thousands, right? Kunut nazila, hundreds of thousands. This is like a lot more effort and a lot more effective than physical methods that's out there. Because la hawla wala quwwata illa I was told that there have been people online who have been somewhat dissing, right? Those who promote making dua, promote doing dhikr. I don't even know. I really wonder, and Muslims who diss um doing dua and dhikr. Who are these Muslims? Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Are you Muslim? Subhanallah. And I wonder the iman. Like how, like, subhanallah, even if your iman is so weak, don't do it on online, and those who have full iman and full yaqeen in dhikr and salawat, right? Don't do that just because you have weak iman. Don't like, oh, you can't just say salawat, you can't just say dua, you can't just say dhikr, you can't just say. Who says so? You can, and there have been plenty of people, right? It is by the dhikr, by the salawat. And in fact, Sayyidina Khalid bin Walid, when he was leading an army out against the enemy, right? And some of the people in the army, they said to Sayyidina Khalid bin Walid, yeah, ya Amir, right? That you're going to send us to the slaughter. Right? You're going to send us to the slaughter. They are thousands multiplied more than what we are. Right? I think the army was 3,000 Muslims against, if I'm not wrong, 70,000 disbelievers. There was the army, 3,000 Muslims against 70,000 disbelievers. That was in the Khalid bin Walid. And Saudi came to the Khalid and said that, yeah, Khalid, you're going to send the Muslims out to being slaughtered, to being slaughtered. And Sayyidina Khalid said, let me ask you a question. One alive person, can they defeat 70 dead individuals? Can a live person defeat 70 dead individuals? And of course they can. I mean, no one is alive. The rest of them are dead. And in the Khalid said, well, I've heard the Prophet ﷺ say that the one who remembers Allah, they are alive. And the ones who don't remember Allah, they are dead. Our army of 3,000, we are alive. And that army of 70,000, they don't remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are dead. It's going on right now, subhanAllah. The Palestinians, they are alive. They are alive. Right? And those who are the oppressors against them, they are dead. Right? Subhanallah. And then Sayyidina Khalid, because of these people having so much doubt, in the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said to them, you guys don't follow me. Right? Stay behind. Because you guys have weakness in your hearts, you have weakness in your iman, stay behind. And no, and they began to argue. And Khalid, no, let us come, let us come. So eventually he allowed them to come. And he said, no, okay, only 10 of you can come. They're like, no, let us come, let us come. And then finally he allowed for 70 of them to come. Right? But he gave a criteria. He said that if you want to follow my army, then pray the night and fast the day. That's my condition. Pray the night, fast the day, and fight jihad. Peace be Allah. Right? SubhanAllah, this is our tradition. This is our religion. Ibadah. Ibadah is our strength. Ibadah is our solution. Ibadah is our everything. Our everything goes to ibadah. Right? Now you have these jokers online, these Muslims online, who are dissing ibadah, and they are Muslims, right? And they are running down and discounting ibadah and placing so much trust and belief in physical, scientific, methods that is debatable in our zaman, definitely debatable. But ibadah is not debatable. It's not debatable. Nobody can tell you that istighfar does not work. No one can tell you that salawat does not work. No one can tell you that surah hajat in the night does not work. Nobody can tell you that. But someone can tell you that, this form of medication does not work. Someone can tell you this operation does not work. Someone can tell you this procedure does not work. They can say that, right? When it comes to ibadah, no Muslim in their right minds, and honestly, in their right minds, right, can ever say that these forms of ibadah do not work. How are you Muslim if you say that? Subhanallah. But it's our zaman. And when you find Muslims saying that already, is they are saying that already. I'm Muslims. Tamam. Continuing from there, there is number 12, right? So ihtimamihim وثقتهم بما جاء به المعصوم صلى الله عليه وسلم. So they place scientific theories above what the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم has said. And other crowds أو من أولئك الذين أضاعوا خاصية الإسلام في تناوله للحوادث الاستباقية في نصوص العلم بعلامات الساعة. Like all other crowds, they have completely neglected and they have left like the you on the next page and abandoned this essential and crucial area of Islam, and it's a discussion of future incidents in the text relating to the science of the last day, right? So there are people who don't see this to be important at all. This is actually core in our zaman, right? Every Muslim needs to learn this in our zaman for us to have clarity of what's going on. And he ends up in his dua, وَعَسَى بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى أن ينفع وعسى بإذنه تعالى أن ينفع الله الجميع بهذه النبذة وتكون لنا ولهم خدمة علمية وعملية لتجديد منهج الدعوة الإسلامية المباركة. آمين اللهم آمين. المؤلف. As I pray that the synopsis is of benefit to every believer and that it serves as a theoretical and practical manual for everyone in renovating the blessed or in renewing, right, the blessed methodology of Islamic da'wah. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. That is his muqaddimah. So inshallah, the next lesson, right, we will go into the first lesson, الدرس الأول جزء أركان الدين الأربعة. It will bring us into the entire um foundations of this knowledge, right? So inshallah, I will try my best to prepare some slides, or maybe just a flow chart for us to follow, so you know how the discussion is coming, inshallah. Are there any questions? Any questions from anything like you see in our zaman, what's going on, right? Anything at all, I'll try my best to answer, or I'll bring it to my teachers to answer for you if I can't answer them. Anyone has any questions on anything? About 4 minutes left. So anyone has any questions on anything at all in our zaman, or any confusion or any directive that you want, any guidance that you're looking for uh, at all, or no one has any questions? Okay, tamam. No questions at all. MashaAllah, you all. Are you sure? All right, hype is on AI right now. I have full suspicion on AI. It just, I don't know, it just feels shaitanic all around, don't you think? It feels shaitanic all around AI. Because you know why? You know why? It's deception, isn't it? There's no human being there. There's no human being there. So credibility and integrity is only found in the heart of a believer. AI has no heart. There's no human being. So I would say it's a calamity that people are taking from, are finding, talks and I don't know what it's finding from AI. That is like it just like it has such a big door open to lies, don't you think? And the thing that has preserved our religion all these years are the hearts of trustworthy human beings. The hearts of trustworthy human beings. So that whenever I hear news, my first question is, who is a scholar who said this? The name of the scholar. I want the scholar. Tell me the scholar, right? Then that will determine whether I believe or I follow the guidance. I want to know the scholar. I want to know the alim, the ulama, right? So I know that someone was telling me that, that some of the institutions nowadays, some institutions, they're using AI to produce their Islamic material to be taught. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Those who are using AI to produce Islam. Even though you produce your dunyawi material or by all means your university, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of cheating going on there. Right? But dunya la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. I mean, do what you want to do. Um but Islamic material has to come with barakah. Barakah has to come with and Islamic material has to come with sanad. Right? Sanad. Where is the sanad? Right? From whom is this knowledge taken from back to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? And Islamic material has to come with taqwa. Right? Where is the taqwa in AI? Right? So AI is completely stripped of sanad. There is no sanad, there is no chain of transmission, there is no barakah because there is no niyat, there is no intention. When we teach, when our teachers teach us, they always they always hinge their intentions on the Prophet ﷺ, on the righteous. And from there the barakah comes in. And the last thing is the taqwa, the integrity. These things do not exist in a world of AI where there is no heart. There's no heart. That's why in fiqh how you say awiyatul udul, awiyatul udul, which is containers of credibility and integrity. AI has no place in this. Right, no place. So for me, it just it kind of like reeks of shaitanic, vibes. This AI thing. I don't know. Okay, tamam. Let's see. Someone asked, does it affect us if we see the and all the gore is spreading everywhere? Yeah, it should affect us. The Muslims are one body. We are one jasad. If a part of us is suffering, the rest of us should suffer. We should be affected as Muslims because they are our brothers. Right? If you imagine that it's your own child there, how will you be affected if it was your own flesh and blood, your own child? Right? So you should be affected by what you're seeing, the injustice. The believer is always affected by injustice. Don't let it be don't be numb towards this, right? Don't be indifferent towards this. Don't. You will never be indifferent towards injustice. Right? We are the Ummah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Ummah of Rahmah, inshallah. On boycotting companies that support Israel. You know what? Frankly, right? Frankly, I have not seen a single company that supports Israel that is necessary in my life. Factually. Honestly, think about it. Can you do without all of this junk out there? I mean, honestly, the Israeli companies, right? They have such bad stuff. They have such bad food. They have such bad materials. They have such bad fashion. They have such bad everything. They have bad everything. Think about it. Right? I mean, it's just like it's just the way they are. They're filthy, and they're spreading filth to the rest of the world in their products. So I would say, boycott because it's not tayyib. I mean, we should boycott it a long time ago. It's not tayyib. There's no goodness in this. I mean, if any of you here still eating McDonald's, still eating KFC, don't you know the animal practices behind this? Don't you know how disgusting their practices? Don't you know by now? So didn't a war tell you to stop eating this junk? Come on, come on. Right? As Muslims, we need to stop all this junk food, and junk fashion and junk everything. I mean, I don't know. When I see all the brands that they have put up, I don't see a single one that's good. They're all bad brands. They're all like really, really terrible brands. Look at it. I don't know. I see all of them like this terrible stuff out there. I mean, do yourself a favor and stop it. Just do yourself a favor and stop it. Subhanallah. Um, and of course, I'll say there's no barakah in there. There's no barakah in any of these products. No barakah. There's barakah in what Muslims, people of righteousness, they produce. I heard somewhere before. I'm not sure if Shamza who said this, but Shamza, he only wears suits sewn by, I think it was some time ago, right? Sewn by someone who actually goes to the masjid 5 times a day. People who actually really, really care about barakah. Barakah in food, barakah in clothing, barakah in everything. So right, so right, So, so I myself don't watch all these gory videos. Yani, like to care doesn't mean you have to see. Yani, you don't have to see it. Even the Rasulullah SAW, he could not bear to see his uncles in the Hamza being mutilated. Right? Saying Hamza was mutilated. Saying Rasul, he couldn't bear to see it. Right? It's human. It's human that we can't bear to see blood and just dead bodies. Is very hard for us as human beings. Does not mean that we don't care. We care. Right? We care. Right? So for me personally, I don't watch it. It's just my own just the way I am. I do like to watch it, right? But of course, that I read the news. I do read the news and see what's going on. And you get, in fact, even in the news, you don't know what to believe. So I follow pages. I follow specific WhatsApp pages or WhatsApp groups that bring, inshallah, correct news from Palestine, right? Just to continue the ihtimam, right? Continue the concern and the love and the dua and we need their dua for us. They're making dua for us. Now, okay. So I don't know if you're okay watching all this stuff. I don't see the benefit in watching dead bodies and gore that's there, the blood and everything. I don't know the benefit unless it just you to get to wake up for the Hajj. Any like there's a benefit in there. Okay, I'm gonna stop there for today, inshallah. Like, but I personally I go by what I read, not by what I see. Because as you said, it does bother the mind because it is very, very it is very gory. You continue our du'as, continue our hajj, continue supporting them financially. I send money over, send resources, and helps us and aid, right? And it's gonna be a proof for us or against us on the day of judgment. Um, and I'll say that whatever we're going to spend on these companies that we mentioned earlier on, right? Send this money over and start to live a life of zuhud. Like start to stop all this luxury and all this waste of money, waste of, and these companies are very expensive anyway. Right? You're spending money on these companies. Why? Ask yourself why. It's so much money. Right? It's so much like you're gonna buy all this stuff. Islam is a religion of zuhud. Right? Islam is a religion of zuhud. We need to start walking the way of zuhud because Nabi Isa will come with zuhud. And only those with zuhud can follow Nabi Isa's way. So we need to start training ourselves on really removing dunya from our lives. Yes, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel is a practice to be done every day, 70 times, with the intention that Allah gives strength to the believers, right, and gives victory to believers, inshallah. بارك الله فيكم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة أن الله هابز ونعم نافع نعم واصل وستعين بالهدى والرحم علي من مشايخنا وذوي الحكمين وإلى حضرة النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Zuhud is to abstain from the world. Okay, zuhud is to abstain from the world, to detach from the world. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.